This story from the Daily Caller. Apparently, House Democrats spread lies about climate change and hurricanes, according to a scientist. This scientist is Ryan Mao. I believe I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I hope I am. Sorry, Ryan, if I'm not. And I believe he's tweeted several times kind of explaining and debunking some of the myths put out by Ocasio-Cortez and other people. I may be confusing him with someone else, but I believe he's the same person. So I don't want to conflate him with anyone else, because I could be wrong. But there was one particularly strange moment where Ocasio-Cortez said that tornado sirens going off in D.C. was because of global warming or something. And she said something like, I guess we're just here at casual tornadoes. No, sometimes there are tornadoes. So places have tornado sirens because there's a possibility of tornadoes, not because it's anything unique or special to the current era we're in. She also made a comment about 12 years, and it's very controversial. So look, where I find myself as kind of a modern individual is that I believe climate change is a serious problem that we need to deal with, and there's absolutely economic incentives that would be that would incentivize Republicans to be on board. Things that could develop new technologies that could help us become more economically competitive around the world, and as a win-win for everybody. I don't think the Democrats putting out weird farting cow nonsense is helping anything, or Cortez fear-mongering about a tornado in D.C. being, rare. I don't think any of that is helping. And so I get kind of frustrated when they do these things. A calm, rational person can have a conversation about what is or isn't and what we should or shouldn't do. Just because some people don't agree it's a problem and they'll cite whatever they want to cite, that's fine. Okay then, if we disagree, what can we do that would be beneficial for both sides? I say this all the time. Apparently Ocasio-Cortez says nothing. Because when they tried doing the Green New Deal, they didn't vote on it. They voted present. So apparently they can't even come up with a compromise. They'd rather do nothing than something. But let's see exactly what happened, because apparently they posted lies. But let's break this down. Let's see if it's true or not. Daily Caller writes, House Democrats' climate change hearing is based on inaccurate information that's not in accord with current science or consensus, according to a scientist. A Committee on Oversight and Government Reform subcommittee will hold a hearing Tuesday on national disaster policy in the wake of climate change. However, Democrats are under fire for making claims on the hearing's webpage that don't line up with the facts. Atmospheric scientist Ryan Mao, a hurricane expert, tweeted that the Democrats' hearing spread lies about the scientific consensus on climate change and hurricanes. The House subcommittee is chaired by California Rep. Harley Rhoda and includes Green New Deal champion New York Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez as a member. Mao pointed out that major scientific assessments cast doubt on claims global warming is increasing hurricane frequency or intensity. So they have a different story. This is not in accord with current science or consensus anywhere equals fraud, Mao said of House Democrats' climate claims, which relies on information posted online by environmental activists. You got a typo here, Daily Caller says on information twice. Not a good look for next House hearing on climate change and disasters that furthers inaccurate information, spreads lies from Union of Concerned Scientists on Hurricanes. So we'll open this up and see what Ryan had to say specifically in his tweet. I believe that is not his tweet. That is something else. So here we go. So yes, I believe this is the meteorologist who called out Ocasio-Cortez in the past, but he points to this over houseoversight.gov, and he says it's a fraud. He goes on to say global category 4s and 5s have not doubled, and several papers discuss why, e.g. detection in crux analysis. This is spelled out in detail at NOAA GFDL website. IPCC reports, my research cited, and if you ask any other reputable topical scientist, I got a fly buzzing around me, excuse me. So this guy, Ryan Mao, verified on Twitter, meteorologist, PhD. I'll take his word for it. I'm not a scientist, right? I am not a climate expert. I defer to you, Ryan, and any other scientist who's a verified PhD, whatever. He says, it is problematic that House Democrats would base a hearing on disasters and climate change on inaccurate info. This suggests a deficiency in committee staff or, more likely, farming out research to activist groups. Cue the circus music and bring out the clowns. And he puts a little clown emoji. Reactions so far defending the false claim. It's okay to lie because we need action. But Trump-Pence, it's just a typo. Why can't we just concede the simple fact and then move on with sound policy based upon accurate science? Because to these people, the ends justify the means. They believe, like he says, it's okay to lie because we need action. Where do you go from there? And more importantly, if you spread this lie to further your goals, people will believe it's true, and then when you're long gone, there will be fake news circulating, and people will base their lives and the future on false information. You know what? This is why I hate fake news, and I think we have a problem with a lot of these far left Democrats. They're willing to push nonsense. Listen, I think most of the Democrats are okay. Most of the Democrats you don't hear about in the news all the time because they're not saying insane nonsense. However, there are certain high-profile individuals who are saying nonsense, and they're not just the far-left Democrats. There are certain people who say nonsensical things to pander to their base, and there are many of them. I think there are some people on the Republican side who I'll just say it. I am no fan of Mitch McConnell. I think he is tactless. Lindsey Graham as well. I'm not, I've criticized Ocasio-Cortez. I've also praised her for some of the things she's doing. I want to make a point that it's not necessarily tribal. Mitch McConnell made a comment about Jon Stewart I thought was crass. But so what? He made a crass comment. It's not policy. They passed the Victims Fund bill. So really, what am I going to do? Make a video saying, he made a stupid statement? I'm not. Ocasio-Cortez actually is pushing through policy like this based on junk science. So we have, let's go over some of these images and see what exactly he's talking about. Hurricane and climate change. Increasingly destructive hurricanes are putting a growing number of people and structures at risk. Maria, Irma, Harvey, Sandy, Katrina, Andrew. For coastal communities, the social, economic, and physical scars left behind by major hurricanes are devastating. Background. Due to climate change, the number of hurricanes that reach Category 4 and 5 in strength has roughly doubled since the 1970s, and there are no longer distinct wildfire seasons. There are just wildfires all the time. I don't know about that second point, but Ryan is contesting the claim about Categories 4 and 5. They then post this: recovery, resiliency, and readiness, contending with natural disasters in the wake of climate change part 3. So this is the hearing I'm presuming they're putting forward. Let's go back to the Daily Wire and see what they say. They say that Mao took issue with Democrats' claim about the Category 4s and 5s. I don't want to rehash that. I just want to move on. They say NOAA, for example, says the rising trend in Category 4 and 5 hurricanes in the North Atlantic is based on data that's not reliable for trend calculations until they have been further assessed for data homogeneity problems, such as those due to changing observing practices. Democrats linked to the Union of Concerned Scientists website, which points to a 2005 study on hurricanes and global warming. Based on that paper, the website claimed that since the mid-1970s, the number of hurricanes that reach 4 and 5 have doubled. Among the many studies included on the page is a link to a 2005 peer-reviewed science study looking specifically at the increase in intensity of Atlantic hurricanes. Brenda Eckwurzel, director of climate science at UCS, told the Daily Caller News Foundation, the language our webpage uses to characterize that study could be clearer in describing the results and the time period in question. On the same page, we also discuss and link to a broad range of more recent studies. UCS changed the language on its website after being contacted by the DCNF. The updated website reads, one 2005 peer-reviewed study showed a large increase in the number of North American hurricanes that reach 4 and 5 when comparing the most recent 15-year period to the prior period. Interestingly enough, the 2005 study USC relied on was co-authored by climate scientist Judith Curry, a prominent critic of climate alarmism. Curry will appear at Tuesday's hearing at the invitation of Oversight Committee Republicans. Whoa, that's really interesting. Curry's 2005 paper found that the strongest hurricanes had doubled in number, though she and her co-authors did not attribute the increase to global warming. Should be an interesting hearing, Curry told the DCNF. We did not attribute this to anthropogenic global warming, although a subsequent paper showed that this increase shares information with the increase in sea surface temperature. So the Republicans are going to bring in the woman who actually wrote the study cited by Democrats to disprove the Democrats' claim. That's going to be some, they're going to have egg on their face. And so listen, man, I think we're at an impasse. There's a lot of Republicans who don't believe that humans are causing climate change. Most Democrats do. I think this can be a big unifying issue for the left, for any Democrat to focus on. You don't have to agree with them if you're a Republican. What I think we need is a Democrat who's going to speak to the left and say, listen, I want to focus on climate change and figure out what we can do that will be beneficial to all of us and those who would not believe it. If there are people who deny climate change, we can certainly come to an agreement with them where they won't be negatively impacted by any of the policies. In fact, they can be positively impacted, and these can be net benefits to the environment. More hydroelectric power, more tidal power, more wind power. What can we do that will please the environmentalists and the capitalists who want to see growth and economic development and jobs? It can be done. It can. But it can't be done when you put out easily debunked science and then moderates and independents think you're lying to me. If you're or you're just you have no idea what you're talking about. And if that's the case, why would I listen to you on any agreement? So look, there's a lot of stuff that Ryan has brought up in the past that I think it's really, really interesting when he points out that, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he highlights how there's a lot of uncertainty in anthropogenic global warming in terms of what the ramifications will be. And there are a lot of alarmists who want to use the most extreme circumstance and claim the world is ending. Yes, we've heard the world is ending, but that's probably not the case. There will be some changes. We don't know exactly what will happen or why because humans develop new technology and we might get rid of cars. For all we know, in 20 years, we have electric automatic cars and that dramatically reduces carbon emissions. Perhaps. I don't know. I just know that the only way we solve the problems is with calm, rational, and correct discussions. So I'll leave it there. You get the point. I think Ryan's been a great source on this kind of stuff. I don't know what his politics are. Maybe he's a bad source. I don't know. But he has come up and he's often put up sources. And I have to say, if the Daily Caller News Foundation actually got the author to criticize their statements too, then I think the Democrats are on the wrong side of this one. Stick around. I got 2 more videos coming up shortly, and I will see you in a minute.